Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussions on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime, currently featuring Steven Universe, Miraculous Ladybug, Archer, and Powerpuff Girls. I am Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Yo.
Today, Delaney and I will be discussing the latest 3 episodes of the new reboot of the Powerpuff Girls. Episodes 4 to 6, Painbow, Horn, Sweethorn, and Man Up. They've aired Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday today when we're releasing this podcast on Cartoon Network. We covered the first 3 episodes on Tuesday. You can check that out at overlyanimated.com. And I think we're going to regularly cover the show. So that's exciting. I don't think we're going to go episode by episode because they're short and maybe we'll like double or triple up. So next week, an episode a day again. So we'll figure out how we're gonna talk about
and
that.
It's no Steven Universe. So.
It's not a Steven Universe where each 10-minute episode is like jam packed, right? But although to a certain extent it is, I'm more impressed than I thought it'd be, right? So let's get into, you can, overlyanimated.com, you can subscribe to us on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher, search the Overly Animated Podcast. Let's get right into this. So Delaney, remind us your thoughts on this show after the first 3 episodes, and how has it evolved since watching these next 3?
So I like it. I saw the first 2 episodes, loved it. I think it's a great direction we're going for a reboot, and we had talked about this is what a reboot should be. This is kind of like what Teen Titans Go should have been or should be. It's still going on somehow. But these next 3 episodes, they were a little bit more. I didn't dislike them. I liked them. They're fun, and I laughed, and they're funny, and they're very. Again, we're doing more like Bubbles and Buttercup focus. We're not really getting a lot of Blossom focus, so it was really funny about her grades. They were painfully Cartoon Network-y.
Interesting.
A little bit, very much the rainbows and the unicorns. Very much, it was. I'd say it was kind of a step down from the first 3 episodes. I still liked them; they were fine, and kind of more typical episodes of Powerpuff Girls, in that we had a villain and we're fighting them. Kind of like we literally created a monster and had to fight the monster, and then we had Man Up, which we had a villain we had to fight.
That's a pretty traditional episode of the show, yeah.
Yeah, these have been fairly traditional.
The Man Up at least was, yeah.
Yeah, Man Up was a super traditional episode of Powerpuff Girls. Painbow kind of. Painbow was a little on the nose with the what did we learn today, kids?
Yeah.
But it was fine. Powerpuff Girls was always kind of like that, so it's not too annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked them. They were fine. Very bright.
Very bright.
Lots of rainbows. I really liked the unicorn just because it was so ridiculous that Bubbles believes in unicorns. And then they're real. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I did enjoy them. They're not as great as the other 3, though.
Interesting.
I'd say.
I think that these 4 and 5 are on the level of 1, 2, and 3. I think Man Up is clearly the worst of the bunch.
That's fair.
But I also think that obviously the message behind it is much more substantial than the other ones, so it is that going for it. So I'm super into the show, even more of an extent now after these episodes. I loved Painbow and Horn Sweethorn. Just incredible on many levels. I've started working on an article trying to articulate this. I think the show is doing so many things really incredibly well, and I think that even though Man Up wasn't a great episode, I think that its presence, contrasting with the first 5, is very welcome. And I think that just look at the 3 episodes we're covering here. I think Painbow and Horn Sweethorn embrace young femininity, but also just young females. I want a better word than femininity, because
it's very much and I know I did say it was painfully Cartoon Network-y, but it's I have a really bad taste in my mouth from when I first started watching Adventure Time when I see episodes like this sometimes. But it was very much a Mabel Pines episode, which is what I really liked about them both.
The show feels very Gravity Fallsy for sure.
That's the thing.
Compare Horn Sweethorn to the last Mabel Corn, very similar representations of unicorns.
Pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah,
I didn't want to say I did like these episodes, and I wasn't trying to be super
No, I mean, I think it's a
negative
fair
about
assessment. I mean, I think I'm more positive than I've seen other people be. So it's not like it's not like you're like outside of the realm here. Like what I'm trying to express is, I think these two episodes, like, yeah, there's an element of Cartoon Networkiness. Like, we'll talk about that, but like I think these two episodes are kind of embracing like legitimacy of just like how like young females behave, and just
they're really
very
playing off of it very well too.
it's yeah, and it's doing like good things with it, and then it's also just being super feminist, as we saw in Man Up, which is like all about like toxic masculinity and them literally
Yep,
fighting the personification of toxic
literally
masculinity.
fighting it.
So I think that's, I mean, I think that like narratively and stuff, that that episode's like somewhat on the nose, but just its function, of course, within the series I think is great. And yeah, I just like, I talked about this a lot last week, but I think this episode, this series has just been it's like, I feel like this is totally what I want on the air for young girls to watch. Like, you hear that a lot with shows these days. It's like, this is a great show for like young girls to watch. But I feel like maybe even more so than like Legend of Korra, I almost would rather be like a lot of Powerpuff Girls type shows. I don't know. That's really weird, but
Well, no, it's really easy to go over like what's great about the Legend of Korra is that Korra is still Korra, but she does everything like boys can do. What's so great about this is that it's okay. You don't have to like what boys like or whatever this idea that like girls can like what they want to like and still be superheroes and be like who they are. And like I think that's because that's the thing. There's this trend in media where we have like Star Wars is a big one. So we have awesome, and of course people are complaining about Rogue One. Like, calm down. But we have people who are like, oh, finally we have a protagonist, and oh yeah, it could have been a dude. I'm glad it's not. Like we have to have a girl do this stuff, and it's awesome to see that. But we also need characters like Bubbles, and where we have these like they're super feminine and they really like the stuff, and it's cool. You can also be that way. Like we're like the pendulum is finally swinging back a little bit because this whole idea, like, because what feminism is all about is not just like being equal with men, but also like you want to be a stay-at-home mom? That's great. We're going to support you. If you want to work outside of the home, we're going to support you too. That kind of thing with this applies. Like you want to like traditional quote girly stuff, like it, like unicorns and rainbows and
exactly right.
pandas.
I think that last
Do
part,
it.
yeah, that last part especially, and I think that's a great way of expressing what I'm trying to say here. Is that just like the show is, it's we just had episodes about like rainbows and then unicorns, and about like Bubbles loving both of them, and it's completely legitimizing it.
And also, Bubbles is terrifying
And also
in both
Bubbles
of
is
these
like
episodes.
terrifying and just like super kick butt still.
It's
So
great.
it's it to an extent where I've seen other shows kind of try to do this type of thing, but this is the first show where I've seen where I just genuinely get the feeling that they're really embracing uh just like current 10-year-old girls. Like, just
I mean,
it's like what they like is legitimate. What
it's
they're
embodied in their characters.
they're
We have the Hermione kind of bossy, cares about her grades, really like, strong-willed. No, they're all strong-willed because they're scary and it's great. And then we have, and they're superheroes. They got to be strong-willed. And you have Blossom, and that's one kind of typical femininity. And then we have Buttercup, who's kind of the tomboy, but she's literally the one fighting the toxic masculinity, which is even better. Then we have Bubbles, like girly girl. Like it's awesome. They're all three here, and they're all three legitimate. And it's so great because it's good. You can be any of them. You can be all of them, and it's fine.
these
It doesn't
different, yeah, you're
matter.
right, these different aspects, and it's really great.
Sugar, spice, and everything nice. Like it's so great. I love
By
Powerpuff
the way,
Girls.
we found the I found the extended intro, and it did have that in the beginning, so
It's pretty
slight
good.
slight forgiveness and for that.
And
um
on top of correction, I wanted to say that I was talking about their superpowers, which we were talking about Bubbles too. Buttercup is the only one who doesn't have an extra power on top of them having X-ray vision, laser vision, blah 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 blah. Bubbles, we haven't seen it yet, but she has a supersonic voice. Like she could
yeah, okay, I
scream.
remember that, yeah. Yeah. All right. So but yeah, like, so it's like embracing things that they like, embracing like attitudes, not normalizing it to male behavior. It's legitimate in its own right, but also, and this is maybe my favorite aspect, is legitimizing and embracing modern behavior of this type. This show is just embracing so many like the like dialogue, just technology, and I mean, we have a sequence in this fourth episode where Bubbles is like, I can't even, and it's like it's the best thing
So
ever. I can't believe I'm seeing this.
it's so good.
And it,
No, like she literally can't even.
yeah.
It's so good. So
Blossom's like,
good.
oh, she like literally can't even.
So
And it's
funny.
like Buttercup's not into that, but also that's okay. Like I just
So
the
funny.
show more than there's so many shows that are that are airing now and shows that are taking place in the current, but like this show definitely feels like it's in the present, and it feels like I mean, I'm not like a current 10-year-old girl, but I would imagine this is more relatable.
Really.
I would imagine that this is more relatable than a lot of stuff
Well,
where
they've done it so well. This is what a reboot should be. They have completely brought Powerpuff Girls from the early 2000s to now.
and that's my favorite part about it, right?
So great.
Is that like if you're gonna reboot it, this is like you could update it and make it modern, and that's like in my mind, like the most legitimate thing to do. And it's just they've so embraced it and included in almost everything in every episode, and it's so really wonderful. And I just kind of love everything about the series right now. Like it's incredibly cute. It's incredibly like youth oriented without being kind of young, kind of like patronizing to young people, or also like being dumbed down.
Right.
I feel like the show is definitely aimed at a younger audience than us, but at the same time, I don't feel dumb watching it, which is very rare for me. Like
Which I think
I legitimately have liked watching the 6 episodes that we've seen.
it's, and I, this is kind of early to say, but I really do believe this, that I think this reboot and what we'll now probably be talking about Powerpuff Girls is that they've captured, I think, the timelessness kind of that Scooby Doo has, and Scooby Doo's numerous recreations of itself. And Scooby Doo is constantly modernizing, and like we have there's literally like a new Scooby Doo series every year, if not, and definitely one for every decade. And Powerpuff Girls is on their way to being that to being like, oh, there's Powerpuff Girls, and Powerpuff Girls is it's always gonna be Powerpuff Girls, but here's Powerpuff Girls now, which, and that's, I mean, Scooby Doo's been around since the 70s, and like, well, actually 60s too. Like Scooby Doo is forever, and that's
I don't know if I ever thought of some Powerpuff Girls like when I was watching when I was younger, something that's like timeless, but definitely it seems if people can do what this show did, like Blossom, Buttercup, Bubbles, like you could just take those characters and the basic general concept and update it, and like it could totally just be a thing that's around for
yeah,
a
and
while.
that's like Scooby Doo. They just solve crimes. Powerpuff Girls, they're just little girls who fight crime. It's awesome, and you can just keep bringing them back. They can
Oh
just keep
yeah,
doing the
although
same stuff.
the fighting crime has not been incredibly relevant, like
Right.
throughout the
Which
six.
is kind of like the funny part, like of
Yeah,
this reboot, because like literally the whole point of Powerpuff Girls is they just like beat up monsters constantly,
yeah.
which I do appreciate. Which they are, that was a major thing back like when Powerpuff Girls was originally airing, about how violent it was, and they're toning it down a little bit. Granted, we have a lot of laser vision, a lot of laser
There's a lot of
vision.
it.
Buttercup literally murders these lobster people, but it's whatever. It's Powerpuff Girls. It's fine, casual, just
Yeah, I mean
murdering
that
people.
episode's very strange. So
It is very strange. There might not have been real lobsters. We don't know.
yeah, so and look for an article on overlyanimated.com at some point where I try to express this in better detail. But like, yeah, just I love the modern aspects, like the embracing of kind of young females and like the delivering it to then like the delivery too. Like I said, like just like for younger people, but not like any sort of dumbed downness or anything like that. And so I don't know. I can't I kind of can't overstate how impressed I am by the show through 6 episodes. I never like something as much as this early on.
No,
Yeah.
this is a miracle, honestly.
I mean, a lot of shows I'm like, okay, like I understand that it's not good through the first 6 episodes. I genuinely think the show is like, so I genuinely think 5 out of 6 of these episodes were very good. Uh,
They've just taken off. We're just starting off, just launching into space.
yeah, kind of a total shock for me, but I guess it's I don't you don't expect this sort of thing from a reboot, especially from like a beloved previous series. But yeah, just take it. The Powerpuff Girls probably was pretty feminist for when it was airing, but
Yes, it was.
this is definitely much more so. So
It's definitely there. I mean, that's what's so great about this is they're taking these base elements, and they're really like they are just running with them, and we're modernizing Powerpuff Girls so much. Like this is the Powerpuff Girls we need now.
Yeah, I
Just
agree.
like
Yeah.
Avatar was the show we needed when Avatar was airing, and Korra is the show we needed. I can't say now, but when Korra was
Yeah,
airing, and
yeah.
now we have the Powerpuff Girls, which is the Powerpuff Girls we need now, and it's great.
I agree. And yeah, and like even putting aside all of that, I just genuinely enjoy watching the show. So
It's adorable
it's great.
and
Yeah.
so
I
bright
mean,
and colorful.
it's super cute and fun, and it's like morally very good. Like that's all I want in life. So there you go. Yeah, let's discuss the specific episodes. Let's start with Painbow here. Uh,
Pain.
Painbow. Uh, so I think there's two notable things about the episode. It's kind of the structure, like you said, of the basic moral development at the end, right? The like lesson, and also the crazy trippiness of the middle.
Just acid trip in the sky.
It really was, which is what they're going for, and it's great. But this is totally like these two episodes, Painbow and Horn Sweet Horn. These are just totally Mabel episodes from Gravity Falls, right?
Yeah.
But
Bubbles and Mabel would be best friends.
they would be, yeah. But by the way, update on our faves. Like Bubbles, way more so than even before now. Like it's Bubbles for me, like 10, and then there's I also really like what they've done with Blossom, although she hasn't been a focus, and I think Buttercup had a good showing in the last episode too.
Buttercup is still 100% my fave, shortly followed by Blossom, and then of course Bubbles is precious.
We've had we have a growing trend of Bubbles reaction shots to things in kind of like anime
So
style, and those are my favorite things. So
they're pretty great.
we're gonna like
So
pick,
I enjoy that every time we flash back to her, she's wearing like a bunch of stuff.
yeah.
Like everywhere they go, like you just see Bubbles
Yeah,
and she's
yeah,
covered.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They did it in this episode where she just randomly gets dressed up in like weird
And then
hippie
they do
clothes
it
for,
in
and they do it at the
Man Up.
in Man Up where she like embraces the Renaissance fair. Probably similar
I
outfits, yeah, where
love
the
it. It's
Renaissance
so great. She's just covered in stuff. It's awesome.
just
Like I
has to
love
like
her.
accessorize very quickly. Yeah,
It's so great.
it's really really good. Yeah, I'm super into Bubbles. Bubbles is the best, obviously, but like obviously I think that, but like even more so what they've done with her. Anyway, who Painbow? I don't think Painbow is specifically any of them episode. But
Well, it's kind of a
I
Buttercup
guess it's a
episode.
Buttercup because she's involved in the beginning and end. But then the middle is kind of like a Bubbles too, right?
Yeah,
So it's not like Corn Sweet Horn is a Bubbles episode and Man Up's a Buttercup episode, right? It's not like those two. But yeah, the highlight of this for me is the I can't even dialogue. Um,
it's pretty good.
yeah, so let's go over that. So Bubbles says, "OMG, yes." She also says yes, and she says,
Yes,
"OMG,
yes,
yeah, I can't." And then
so good.
Buttercups can't what? Bubbles even. Buttercup can't
It's
even
so
what?
good.
And then Blossom says, "Oh, like she literally can't even."
Literally can't even. It's so good.
And Buttercup's like,
Well,
whatever.
I
Yeah,
think my favorite part of the episode, which is like natural if you know me, of course, is gonna be my favorite part, is the it's both scenes. Like the diorama scene in the beginning, where she's like, if grades don't mean anything, I don't mean
yeah.
anything.
Okay, yeah.
And she's like, it matters. Like I'm like, it's me.
Okay, let's
It's
go.
me.
Yeah, let's go over that line. So,
So
uh,
funny.
Blossom, yeah, they Buttercup. I guess Blossom's talking to Buttercup after they come out, and she's like, "I get an A plus. If everyone got an A plus though, if grades are meaningless, then I'm meaningless. I can't live in this world." She says,
It's so funny.
and then and then also there's a great Bubbles line after this. She comes out and she says, "I never thought I would say this, but I can't handle any more hugs." Also
So
great
great.
line for Bubbles. Yeah, we have a recurring Blossom's been in the background, but she had that, and there's also a great sequence in Man Up too with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you feel her in.
I feel Blossom like intensely. Like I just had a test today. Like I just feel Blossom a lot.
Yeah, I feel like you say Buttercup's your fave. I feel like you're Blossom if you're any of the
No,
three.
that's the thing. It's like with Steven Universe. Garnet is my favorite, but I'm literally Pulp.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
I love Buttercup, but as a person, I'm Blossom.
yeah. I think I'm the same though. Like I love Bubbles, but I also think I'm Blossom. So
We're both Blossom.
I think that's probably true.
Seems legit.
Yeah. Um, what else? Yeah, that was the beginning of the episode was great too. What else we have here?
Sans syntax.
The yes, yeah.
Scheme.
Inside the rainbow. Oh yeah, what do we think of what's his name? Allegro?
Like, bro,
That's what I
yeah.
wrote down. What do we think of Allegro the bear, the happiest panda in the world?
It's kind of great. He's kind of terrifying though. And he breaks into pieces and like it becomes like a rainbow black hole. It was really weird.
That was weird at the end, yeah. What do you think of the party lobsters?
But I like flashed back to the
Amanda
show.
show for sure, yeah. I don't know if
And then
it's
I really enjoyed the party lobsters. They were pretty good.
yeah, I don't know why they didn't dance, but did they
I know,
dance?
but
I don't know.
they like shot emojis out though.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
fired
they
emojis.
fired out emojis. It's true. It's a good way of looking at
What? It's pretty good.
it. Introspection bugs Allegro out. You're
That was pretty good.
ruining my chill vibes. Yeah, introspection bugs it out. Um, yeah. Oh yeah, and then like here's the like epitome of the like kind of aimed young but not like dumbed down like in but the Buttercup's jokes in the beginning and then ends like her resisting like butt and making jokes off of that, like that's the type of thing that I'd be like, it's so childish, but I didn't really get that impression from the show. Like I think it was handled to an extent where it's just like, oh, it's kids. It's not like
Well, I
it's
think
humor
what
aimed at
helps
kids, it's
too.
just kids being like kids, right?
Well, I think that's what helps though is that like in the like it's a little bit different. I also think it's different based on like what we're used to reading and seeing on TV is that we're not used to watching shows where the main characters are literally very young.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, the way young adult literature and like other media, like 12-year-olds are kind of like coded this way that they act a lot older than they are, and it's because typically we cast people who aren't actually 12 to play 12-year-olds, and so beginning from like puberty onwards, the way we see things in media, they look a lot older and they act a lot older than they actually are, and so then when they act childish, we get really irritated because it doesn't make sense. But then we're actually watching a show where the entire time we know they're like 5 and they're like doing 5-year-old things. We're like, oh, they're just being kids. Like it's whatever.
Do we want to do an age check? I agree completely with what you said. Do you want to do like an age check-in on them? I don't.
Yeah,
I feel like they seem definitely elementary schoolish.
I'm
From
seeing like I think the oldest they'd be is 4th grade.
I think it. I think they're like second to fourth grade.
That's what I was about to say though. I feel like they're probably 2nd grade, but the oldest they could be is 4th grade.
Yeah, I think that's
But
yeah.
they're definitely elementary school. Like
They
we're
don't
hitting that
seem
pretty
they
far.
don't seem like kindergartners, but I mean maybe
No.
that's the intent. I don't know. Also last thing from the episode is we had Professor Utonium being affected by the rainbow. I've decided to stop sciencing for a while now. For a while now, I have more time to hang
But
out.
isn't
With
science like important for society?
yeah,
It's
that's
so
good.
funny. Like, no, I love how he like made this robot sprinkler, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm hanging out with my new BFF."
Yeah.
Like Professor Utonium is so ridiculous.
Used very sparingly so far, but potentially could affect Professor
Well, he's
Utonium.
always used. The thing is, that's what's so funny about this show. It's very like Charlie Brown esque. Like, and in the original Powerpuff Girls was this way too. Is like the adults are non-existent except for like the mayor because they have to save him every 5 minutes. But
Yeah,
like Professor Utonium isn't around a lot. It's just the kids doing whatever, or he's there to be like, guys, go to bed.
yeah,
So
yeah. So overall, Painbow, thumbs up.
I liked it. It was
Yeah.
pretty funny.
Let's talk.
It was there were a lot of like they're hitting the humor so well.
I agree. Yeah.
It's so funny.
Let's talk Horn Sweet Horn. I'll say I think this is my favorite episode of the six pretty easily.
I didn't really like it very much until there were actually unicorns, and I was like, this is amazing.
Come on. No. Well, okay, let's talk about it. There's so much
I mean, I
before that
like
too.
it.
There's so much before that though.
There is,
So they go to the zoo.
but like it sold it. It sold
Yeah.
it.
So we have the announcer from coming back, like randomly the announcer's there.
So weird.
We had two of the day is saved at the end of the previous two that we've seen. So but not all of them. Bubbles, I have a question. When do we get to see a giant unicorn?
She's wearing
Bubbles.
a unicorn.
And she's like a
t-shirt.
unicorn t-shirt and has a unicorn horn on, and
She's so cute.
it's the
I
cutest
love
thing. Like seriously, yeah.
Like, can I just like pick her up and put her in my pocket? Like,
I
she's
know.
so cute.
Yeah, but yeah, it's this is the best. Bubbles and this is the best.
This is the ultimate Bubbles cuteness, and it hurt me. It was so cute.
Stand back, everyone. I shall summon one.
She's so cute. It's overwhelming. Like I can't handle her.
We had the guy who's like, everyone knows the only mythical creatures that exist are Bigfoot.
But that's pretty good.
And then it comes back to at the end. A unicorn, we're going to be best friends forever. And I'll name you Pointy.
She's like like, no, Bubbles.
It's my magical, mystical best friend unicorn. I like that she's just her whole like fantasies that she's just best friends with a unicorn. That very quickly comes out. Yeah.
I
Uh,
love how like Donnie just is like, yes, we're gonna be best
yeah,
friends.
Donnie's into it. Yeah.
It's pretty great.
We have this great sequence between Blossom and Buttercup. It's a pony. No, it's a colt. Then what's a filly? A horse with attitude? Yeah.
So good.
Very, very good. I was really impressed with that dialogue. I always love the. I think the Blossom background dialogue has been one of the highlights of the show.
She's so sassy and it's so funny.
Just
Like,
constantly. Yeah.
literally me. That's why we're both Blossom.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. We're both sassy. You're definitely more sassy though.
I mean, I have to be sometimes to deal with you.
Oh wow. That was a sassy line. Confirmed.
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 Canon.
Canon. I may not have a horn, but I do have a heart. Yeah, Donnie. All of this. You can talk.
You can talk.
Yeah. That's just never addressed, by the way. I guess it
No,
is.
like he can talk.
Yeah.
What?
I guess it is addressed at the end, but like at the same time, the end is not really addressed. With the whole thing with Professor turning him into a real unicorn, and I'll be friends with the real life unicorn, and everyone will see how wrong they were. Right? Yeah.
All right, and then Professor Charm's like, "Okay, let me print out the document." Like, dude, you
Yeah, we have multiple times the Bubbles thing of where she's like super sweet and then just like right, and it's first of all it's great because that's still adorable. I still find the the evilness
so
adorable,
cute.
but also Professor Utonium just completely is not affected by that.
He is not okay. Let's be real though. I mean, Professor Utonium accidentally made three little girls like in his lab. Like, I feel like there is not a lot that can bother or phase him.
Yeah, true. I mean
Professor Utonium.
we should. I think that's what it was probably a good idea to cut that part out of the concept of the theme because just the concept is just very absurd in its own right. Like I think it's a little bit
Really
distracting, but yeah, it is really.
It is distracting.
It's
like,
kind of distracting.
He's not their dad. He's the professor. Like,
I mean, he is
just
their
live
dad
with
though,
him.
but yeah,
He's their dad. It's weird. Like, they have such a weird family dynamic.
it will be the awesomest thing that ever awesomed. I think. Wait, does Bubbles line? I don't remember. We have this whole thing with the mayor opening the pickle museum in this. This is the second time we have mayor with pickles. Was that a thing in the original?
Oh my god, yes.
I don't remember that at all.
The thing is, like, the mayor can't open a pickle jar, and like he calls them a
Oh
lot.
yeah.
Like, he
Yeah.
literally like is so obsessed with pickles, and that's why it's so funny. And I'm glad that they're maintaining this. Like, they're maintaining the purity. That is how ridiculous the mayor is, and it's so good.
I do think we've had the right amount of mayor so far. Not
This is
yeah.
this is all. Don't worry, this is all real. This is all very much old Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah. Let's
Delaney, the fact checker.
I mean, yeah, I definitely do not remember most of this, but yeah, we had the touring the pickle things, then pickle version of Dolly Parton, and then hey, Dolly Parton was never a president. We had that line, yeah, that was really weird.
Not yet.
Not yet.
What?
Yeah. That was interesting. That's very much like a I don't know.
That might have been a throwback to something in the old show, but I don't remember.
Like yeah, maybe.
Fact check failed.
Transform Magnifying Ray.
But I just finished today.
Yeah, but it just happened to finish today.
Good.
My BFF Bubbles, signing all the paper with all the risks. That was pretty good.
I skipped it.
Bubbles, what have you done to me? Yeah, Professor, best 2 out of 3.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I like that line. I hate science. How could you hate science? That's what you got out of that? Yeah. Was that that was Professor talking to Blossom?
Yeah, Blossom goes, that's what you got out of
that? Blossom with the background comments. Yeah, definitely that.
She is so sassy.
We're no longer BFF, says Donnie, and then Bubbles has broken hearts in her eyes as her reaction to it. I think, yeah.
Starts crying.
Yeah. Okay, so then the real live unicorns come, and were you expecting this as a development here?
No, I was not expecting there to be actual unicorns, and I got very excited.
Somebody didn't want to use the GPS. I knew a shortcut, or I thought I did. Ugh, stallions.
Stallions. So good. Loved it.
Wait, and then Blossom and Buttercup. Wait, which ones are stallions? Who cares? Yeah, it was pretty good.
No, that was pretty good. So funny.
Yeah, and then Bubbles keeps saying he's a unicorn. Okay, Bubbles, I get the sentiment, but this is getting kind of redundant. But then Donnie has a horn. And then the unicorns just repair the museum. They say miraculous ladybug, and then the museum is prepared. It's exactly what happens.
Good.
We're going to go back to the Unicorn Alliance Coalition Brigade headquarters. That sounds made up, but it's totally not.
Very good.
I was a fan of that. And use
Very,
this.
I love it 'cause it's like the Justice League. It's like the
Yeah.
Justice Friends. So good.
Use this to summon me anytime about the toy thing, or just shoot me a text. He says, which is great, and definitely what I'm what I'm about with the modern technology thing.
Just shoot me a text.
Yeah. Then the day is saved thanks to the Unicorn Alliance Coalition Brigade headquarters. Or brigade sounds made up, but it's totally not. Very was very into that episode.
It was great.
Let,
It was pretty good.
let's talk Man Up. So I think yeah, like I said, I don't know. I think Man Up was like lacking a lot of the humor and inherently the cuteness because it was about this, this man boy, yeah, literally name. So
Man, boy.
literally his name. So let's talk about it. They're the Renaissance Fair. Buttercup.
I like the Renaissance Fair idea. I think that was really funny and very Townsville.
Do you think it's very Townsville?
Yeah, because Townsville's weird. Like nothing makes sense in Townsville, and just I love how that because it's a very it's tropey. Let's have a Renaissance fair. They're like, no, it's the Renaissance fair. So we're going to combine the Renaissance fair with the hippie episode and just make it the same episode. And I love it. It's good, good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we haven't gotten a concrete like presentation of Townsville in the new show, but yeah,
Well, they haven't. They don't say Townsville a lot.
yeah.
Like they don't. We don't have the like they're not saving the city a lot of the time. Like we haven't had the big like Townsville is under attack. Like it just hasn't happened
This was the closest that we've had to that. This one, yeah,
with the giant wooden robot.
yeah,
Really?
yeah. Let Chilaxy help you relaxy, but then they call it back, of course. Blossoms in the meditation apparently, and we have Man Boy. Townsville needs to go back to his manly roots. Destroy the hip. Start by destroying the hippie place. Buttercup annoyed that he called her princess. Manbot can.
Goes Marty McFly on him.
Yeah, exactly. Manbot to control him purely with my manly will. You throw like a girl, he says after he throws it. Yeah, it's just very on the nose with the
Very on the
yeah.
nose.
Buttercup's anger problem with Guru Chilaxy. We have this sequence when they go to meet the Guru. But Blossom, is there going to be a quiz?
Quiz.
Yeah, Buttercup says, is there going to be a quiz? Blossom says, can there be a quiz? And then
You
Bubble
just
says,
look around going. You just go around looking for quizzes. I
yeah.
don't understand the
Well,
question.
Bubble says, on this quiz, can I use my Lucky Bunny pencil? That's Bubble's question.
Pretty good.
Yeah, so you just walk around looking quizzes? I don't understand the question. Yeah, Blossom, great.
Yeah,
Great
she's
stuff.
like she has pins. Like in case there's gonna be a quiz.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, no, I can't
silly.
use that. So here, you can use my pens. Yeah.
But, in other shows we watch, they'll have dialogue like this, and it's so pointless and stupid. But for some reason, it works in the Powerpuff Girls because it's like actually funny. Like I don't know how it works. They do magic.
I agree. The
something.
like humorous side dialogue is really working. Yeah, I don't know why
In
either.
other shows, we complain a lot. We're like, oh, this is annoying. In this show, no, it's perfect. It's so funny and it works. I don't know how they do it. It's just so great.
That's pretty good. We had this whole backstory with the Guru. RV sales were my life, and that two men made a mockery of my career. It was very
The presentation
the presentation, the hot cold,
that was so
yeah,
good.
and then it looks like and then it turns out they're watching a video. Yeah.
I love that part. Like it's so silly and I love it.
Uh, Buttercup says I'm after we have like a time skip which is not apparent, and now she's all hippie, and then she says I'm Moonbeam Sunshine. Bubble says that's an oxymoron. Interesting. Bubble's pointing that out. A steak army. Ew. When he comes in, and then I think,
Also,
and then Blossom says, "Ugh, men." Like
I love it.
Blossom like
Good.
literally says, "Ugh, men." I
So
think
good.
I think if
Quality.
once we get the soundboard going, that's going on the soundboard.
I look at it all the time. Oh man,
Oh man, yeah,
so good.
yeah. And this time it's personal, but not too personal, like in an emotional way. Just complete ridicule of
Yes.
of uh, I don't know what's the way we're supposed to call them. But yeah, wrecking the concept of like toxic masculinity. I'm a big fan of that. I think that the show kind of needs this type of episode to like
Yeah.
be clear on what we're doing here. But
Definitely.
but like at the same time, I think that this episode was like clearly the worst of the six, just because like the plot was kind of all over the place, and we were kind of lacking a lot of the great humorous stuff for a lot of the parts where we were focusing on mocking the man boy, right? So do you
They
agree with
didn't really
that?
make it. They didn't make it as much of the focus. But that's what detracts is that it's not. It is the focus, but it also isn't. They take it gets taken away from because of like this other stuff with Buttercup. I think
Uh,
that's the main drawback.
yeah, I mean, maybe it's yeah, and I think maybe the opposite.
Not that the stuff isn't bad. It's not that it's bad. Like I think it's like it's really like the Buttercup stuff's great. It's just kind of like it's a little weird like in combination.
I think the feminist stuff is well presented. I think that it's like it maybe detracts from the Buttercup stuff. I think like kind of the opposite, right? Like I think I don't know if I got a clear arc
Well,
for
I think we're
Buttercup
in
in that
agreement
sense.
in that they don't mesh well together.
Yeah, like I don't. Yeah,
It's kind of like two different
I
episodes.
don't think the Buttercup stuff ultimately ends in any sort of interesting
Right.
place. I mean, I guess she like they try to have her like the water fire type thing. They try to have her like find balance or something at the end. I don't think it's presented very fast, and I don't know.
It's kind of like a side plot that almost becomes the main plot, and it just doesn't hit right.
Yeah. So I don't know. Just they're not all going to come together incredibly well, but I think that all the other 5 episodes generally did come together pretty well. So
Also, he's probably going to come back.
I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't have to. Like we've had random villains before, but there's a really good chance that he'll come back. So
The initial clip I saw from the show was from this episode, so that makes sense.
yeah.
It didn't. It was if we had an initial clip like with one of the Blossom asides, then I would have had a much different expectation for the show. So good job, Cartoon Network. You could have clearly been made me more hyped, but no.
Well, this episode's also been on the website for like a week. So,
Yeah, well, yeah, but TV tonight, so whatever.
right.
Okay, so overall, um, I'm in a good place with Powerpuff Girls. Yeah,
It's good stuff.
good stuff. Next week we have an episode a day, and then we're gonna go to once a week. And yeah, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts if you're watching this. I'm not sure how many people are watching this show yet. Uh,
There's been a lot of like pushback a little bit, but
I
whatever.
think a lot of people judge things without, like actually watching them, so that's good.
Yep.
And we'll see. We'll continue to track how they're handling other elements of the show. Interestingly, Monday's episode is called "Bye Bye Bellum," even though we haven't seen Miss Bellum yet, or there's like a quote that she might not be in the show, but like what's Bellum referring to there? So I don't know.
My thing is like, why would we have a like send off episode? Why would they just not have her at all?
Yeah.
So it's
So
interesting.
we'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see what. Maybe they are sending her off in that. It's weird if they do that.
That's my thing is like sending her off is really odd to do in a reboot. Like if you're not going to have her, just don't have her.
Briefly, personally, I think that the Miss Bellum character was somewhat of a sexist representation on the original show.
100%. She was
Um,
literally all legs.
Literally all legs, and I think that Delaney linked me to a post saying that she was like she was like a feminist figure. A lot of people want to believe things because they like them when they're younger, but yeah, I think I think that not including that character is probably a good choice because if you do include her, you have to completely change it. Like,
Well,
um,
she's literally like she's the like sexy secretary. Like that's what she is. Like
I
that's her, like
not showing her face, I think, is very sexist. Like, I think I think that's a bad mark on the original series. I also think the villain him, like, I think that's I mean, I don't really remember the representation, but that's like something we'll have to see if they.
yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna have to see how they deal with him.
yeah. I assume they just won't include him, but those two.
Well,
Yeah,
I think they are going to include him. I will be interested to see though what happens.
yeah. Looking back on the show, those were the problematic representations, like
Right.
pretty clearly. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do with them. Yeah, let us know your thoughts. Overlyanimated.com, YouTube comments, and Tumblr asks any of that. This ad-free podcast is brought to you by our patrons. Thank you to Shayna, Mitch, Cordell, Beatrice, Nate, Andy, Jamie, Rachel, John, Ryan, and Catherine, aka Hey Nephew, Mitch, Cordell, University, Beach Exchange, Nathan, Fillion, Buzz Liker, Mailman, Rich Rose, Johnny Bravo, Brian, and Cookie Cat. I think we're going to continue regular coverage of the show. Probably either 3 and 2 or 2 or 3 next week. I don't know. We'll see. And yeah, excited. And let us know what you think. Closing thoughts on.
Tell us your favorite.
Tell us your favorite of the Powerpuff Girl in the new representation in the new the new reboot of the show? Is it different from your old favorite Powerpuff Girl? Question mark. Because for us, it's the same, I guess. Which is interesting, even because I think they're kind of different. These presentations.
They are. I mean, they're just there's more characterization. Like they're more.
Yeah.
Clearly defined.
There you go. Thanks for listening, guys. Comments, look out for an article over animated.com/blog on this, and we will see you next time. Tomorrow I'll be putting up our Ladybug discussion and a bunch of other stuff. Thumbs up. Thanks for listening. Bye.